In today's video, I'm going to be exploring one of America's favorite foods, and that is
Pizza!
According to the CDC, heart disease is the leading cause of death for men, women, and people of all races. One person dies every 34 seconds from cardiovascular disease. And I was almost one of those statistics. I started making pizza in my own kitchen. I'm going to give you my recipe both for the regular crust pizza as well as a stuffed crust pizza that is so much better than takeout, you're never going to want to order takeout again. And when it comes to pizza, I think a lot of Americans just prefer to order takeout. And so I want to talk about those numbers. Sodium, that is, which is important for our heart health. According to the American Heart Association, healthy adults should not have more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day, while people with hypertension should not have more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day. And here are the amounts of sodium in just one slice of large pizza. And so that means that if you eat 3 slices of pizza, you are now at your daily limit for a healthy person. If you were to buy a store-bought crust option from the supermarket and make your own pizza that way, I want to look at those options as well as our homemade pizza crust. And as we're going through Kroger looking at some of the homemade pizza crust options, keep in mind that till you add cheese and sauce and pepperonis to about a half of a pizza, that's the quantity that we're looking at. I mean, I know there are some women out there who just eat like one piece of pizza and they're like, oh, I'm full. Okay, but that's not me, and I think that's probably not the majority of folks. Most people want to have at least 3 slices of pizza. 3 to 4 slices of pizza equates to about a half of a pizza. So that's the quantity that we are looking at, a realistic amount of pizza. I mean, my husband can polish off an entire pizza by himself. Okay, and I know a lot of guys who eat a lot more pizza, but just for the sake of conversation, I'm going to go with about a half a pizza, which usually equates to about 3 to 4 slices. All right, let's go to the store. So I am currently at my local Kroger store. Let's just have a look at some of these crust options that we've got. So first, I'm going to look at this packaged crust mix, and it looks like it's 370 milligrams of sodium in 3 tablespoons or 1/11 of the package. The package says that it makes 4 10-inch pizzas. A 10-inch pizza is enough to serve one person. It's a small or a personal size pizza. So if I ate that pizza myself, which I would, it would be 2,500 milligrams of sodium. So in one meal, I have literally exceeded my sodium limit for the entire day. Next, we have Kroger brand pizza crust mix. And to be honest, this might be one of the better options that I saw if you weren't going to make your own crust. It's got about 460 milligrams of sodium in about a half of the crust, or 230 milligrams in a quarter of the crust. Chef Boyardee blew my socks off. 730 milligrams of sodium in 1/8 of the package. One of these boxes makes 2 12-inch pizzas, meaning that you would be consuming 1460 milligrams of sodium in a half of one of these 12-inch pizzas. So again, that is 3,000 milligrams of sodium that I would be consuming in about a half of one of those 12-inch pizzas, which is approximately what I would eat in a single serving. This ultra thin crust pizza was also a decent option if you like thin crust. I personally do not, but this has about 80 milligrams of sodium in about a third of the crust. Here is a similar style of crust. This is the Kroger Original brand. This is not a thin crust. It's more of an original crust. But this one has about 700 milligrams of sodium in approximately half of this pizza crust. And then here is another brand, but a similar type of crust. This brand has 1,000 milligrams of sodium in about half of the pizza crust. Pillsbury also makes a pizza crust that's available in the refrigerator section, but again, this is about 1,000 milligrams of sodium in this type of pizza crust. This being said, let's talk about my recipe. Better than takeout, homemade pizza, lower in sodium and more heart healthy. Let me show you my super easy hands-off way to make this delicious pizza. Simply load these ingredients into your bread machine and select the dough cycle. It needs about an hour and a half to run the cycle, and you can walk away and do something else while the machine works its magic. That's right, it's totally hands off. Just allow the machine time to run the cycle and you'll have this delicious pizza dough. Once it's done, simply remove the dough from the machine and roll it out into a ball. I usually make 2 pizzas with this recipe. You can always roll this out into a standard pizza crust, but here I'm going to show you how to make an easy stuffed crust pizza. And you could, keep in mind, you could use some mozzarella sticks in your crust if you'd like to make this even easier. But I'm using the regular mozzarella. Actually, this is provolone and mozzarella. It's a mixed cheese because I think that tastes a little bit better in my opinion. And so I am making do with what I already have in the fridge. So as you can see here, I'm just rolling this crust around the cheese. Once we get the crust rolled up around the cheese, then we're just going to go ahead around the outside edge and press it out to close off the pizza dough where we sealed in that cheese. And also that's going to spread our pizza out kind of to the right width as well, so it's not too small. Next, we're going to go ahead and add pizza sauce over the surface, and I usually add pizza sauce kind of up around the crust as well. And that's just because I like to have plenty of sauce kind of near that crust so that I don't need any more sauce to dip it with. Finally, we're going to add some more of our cheese over the surface. And then we're going to go ahead and top it with whatever toppings we like. Here I'm adding some pepperoni. I'm also going to be adding some onion as well as some green bell pepper and a little bit of mushroom to my pizza. But keep in mind you can top your pizza any way you like. And finally, just for presentation, I like to add just a little bit of an extra sprinkling of cheese over the top and spray my crust down with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. And then just for a little bit of extra flavor, I'm adding some Italian seasoning over the top, and then we're going to pop this in the oven. This little pizza that I have made is about 1/3 of the total crust recipe. Look at that delicious cheesy crust. Oh my gosh. And this crust only has about 75 milligrams of sodium in the entire thing. And technically, if you left all the salt out, you could make this completely sodium free. Because remember, those toppings, already there's about 1,500 milligrams of sodium in just the toppings with no crust even included in that. So I love this recipe because honestly, since I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, pizza has largely been off the table for me. But thanks to this recipe, I've been able to enjoy pizza once again. And it's just healthier all around, even if you don't have high blood pressure. I hope you enjoy.